The Little Mouse Who Was a Princess. Once upon a time, there was an old farmer who lived in a village with his 3 sons. All 3 of them were young and handsome. The farmer was proud of his sons. Once, he thought that it was time for them to get married. They had a family tradition to find a bride.
Take an axe, and cut a tree in our farm. See where the tree falls and search for your bride in that direction. But before cutting the tree, you should plant one in the farm and promise me to take good care of it,"
said the father. The 3 sons agreed and obeyed their father. Each one of them planted a tree first and then cut one. The oldest son cut a tree that fell into the north direction. The second son cut a tree which fell to the south. The youngest son's tree fell in the direction of the jungle. His elder brother laughed at him and made fun of him. All the 3 brothers started their journey. The elder son went to the girl in the north and proposed to the girl he always loved. She accepted his proposal at once. The second son went to the south and proposed to his girlfriend for marriage. She readily said yes to him. Veikko went to the jungle and walked a long way, but he couldn't find any human. He was disappointed and tired too. So, he looked for a shelter and found a small hut in the jungle. Veikko was surprised to see it. There was nobody present but a mouse. Veikko told the whole story to the mouse, but the mouse told him that he would not find any girl in the jungle. The little mouse presented herself to be Veikko's bride. She started convincing Veikko. She danced for him and sang a beautiful song for him. The tired Veikko was well entertained by the mouse. As the dance and song were over, the mouse waited for Veikko's decision. She was looking at him lovingly.
"I will take you as my sweetheart,"
said Veikko. The mouse was very happy to know this. She promised him that she would wait for him until he returned. All the 3 brothers had returned home. They all described their sweethearts to their father. The elder brothers again made fun of Veikko, but he didn't mind at all. A few days passed by and their father decided to put the brides to a test. He called his sons and said,
"I want to take a test of all the brides. Tell them to bake a loaf for me."
Both the elder brothers agreed, but Veikko was silent. He was worried, for he knew that a mouse cannot bake a loaf. He went to the jungle. The mouse was very pleased to see him. Veikko looked worried and told her about the kitchen test. She immediately jumped down and rang a small silver bell thrice. Listening to the sound, hundreds of mice came out from nowhere. The mouse ordered,
"Each of you fetch me a grain of finest wheat."
To Veikko's surprise, all the mice vanished. When they returned, they had a grain of fine wheat with them. Collecting those grains, the mouse baked a beautiful loaf of wheat bread. All the 3 brothers took the loaf to their father. The eldest son presented rye bread. The second son brought the bread made up of barley, and Veikko presented his wheat bread. The father loved all the bread loaves, and decided for another test.
"Now, I want each of them to weave something for me,"
the father said. Both the brothers knew that their beloved were good weavers. But Veikko, on the other hand, knew that mouse cannot weave. He went to the hut in the jungle. The mouse felt Veikko was worried. She asked the reason. The mouse immediately rang the silver bell thrice. Hundreds of mice came in. and sat in front of her waiting for her order.
Each of you will get me the finest fiber of flax.
Obeying her order, all the mice vanished. When they returned, they had the finest fiber of flax with them. The mouse weaved a beautiful piece of fine linen. It was so sheer that she kept it in an empty nutshell. Veikko took the nutshell with him and came home. His two brothers presented the piece, woven by their sweethearts. The eldest brother got coarse cotton, which was quite okay. The second son brought a mix of cotton and linen, which was a bit better. Then, Veikko put forward the nutshell. His brothers, as always, laughed at him. Their laughter faded away as their father opened the nutshell. He brought out the finest fabric linen. Their father loved what Veikko's bride weaved for him.
Now, you three may bring your sweethearts home. I want to meet them all. Bring them tomorrow,
said the father. The mouse was overjoyed to know this. She dressed well, rang silver bell and ordered for a coach and 5 coachmen. Soon, there arrived a coach of a nutshell and 5 mice drawing it. Veikko was surprised to see this. The mouse sat in the coach with a coachman in front, and the footman at the back of the coach. They started their journey to Veikko's house. Veikko was walking beside the coach. Walking through the jungle, they came near a town. There was a river flowing in between. They had to cross the bridge over the river. As they were crossing it, a man came from nowhere in the opposite direction. He saw a bunch of mice coming on his way. He laughed and stooped them all into the river. Veikko was very sad for the mouse, but the man laughed loudly and went away. Veikko turned and saw a beautiful coach standing on the other bank of the river. It was being carried by 5 glossy horses. The most beautiful girl was seated in the coach. Veikko was pleased to see the beauty of the coach. He started walking towards his home. As he came near the coach, he realized that it was the coach of the mouse. The princess told him that she was under an evil's curse. The curse had broken. Because Veikko's father and his elder brothers were mesmerized to see a princess as Veikko's sweetheart, both the brothers were jealous of him. Veikko got the princess because he was kind even to a little mouse. Veikko's father blessed him and they got married. They lived happily ever after.